As we celebrate our 65th anniversary, I'm reminded of Psalms 115 that tells us, "Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory because of your love and faithfulness." I'm reminded that the primary player in all these 65 years is God Himself. Truly, without Him, we can do nothing. It all started in 1949 when two Finnish missionaries, Sisters Nilja Nikkanen and Ira Koka, came to the shores of Singapore and started ministry and outreach. As I reflect on our humble beginnings, I cannot help but marvel at the courage of these two sisters, how they have labored hard trying to share the gospel at the street corners, singing Mandarin songs to the amazement of the locals. And one of the first meeting places that they had was in the basement of an atap house in Grange Road. Later, they moved to the Indus Square in the Alexandra area, and in about 1965, we moved in a building of our own in 24 Tiverton Lane of today's Somerset Road. In 1971, the church renamed herself as Zion Centre and moved to Queensway Shopping Centre, having acquired 2 units of office space at level 3, and Queensway in those days was really a happening place in the neighbourhood.
Well, there's an amazing story about the church building fund for the existing property in Hoot Kiam Road. It started in the late 1970s, and the entire church was mobilized through the collection of old newspapers and old clothes. Pastor Joseph Ong would have them sold. Even the Sunday school children participated by selling kilometrical pens at $1 each. I recall that in those days, in 1978, when I was in primary 4 in the Sunday school, I'd be given a batch of 10 pence every week to sell to my friends at $1. My friends were very supportive. At the end, through the fundraising, we managed to acquire the premises without a single cent of loan from the bank. It was just phenomenal.
We ran the coffee house ministry from 1985 to 1988 on every Saturday night using a soft approach to reach out to non-believers and shopping crowd. We started by brewing authentic Suzuki coffee using siphon steaming glassware. While brewing, we purposely let the aroma float outside the church. Meanwhile, some of them would walk around the mall giving out tracts and invite them to the coffee house. Brothers and sisters would serve as waiter and waitress to prepare the tables and create a welcoming ambience. There was even a disco light above the stage. The place don't even look like a church. Then there would be performances by well-known local gospel artists or homegrown talents. We came up with cantata musicals, and one of our favorite was titled "The Race Is On." Overall, it was a really memorable experience, something I would never forget.
As a current senior pastor, I'm eternally grateful to the Lord for all my predecessors who laid the foundations for this church. Credit must also be given to the strong leadership involvement that has been an asset to the growth of the church. Today, we are a mission-sending church and we see growth to every ministry. Nevertheless, our celebration should be more than just meals and memories. Rather, I pray it will motivate us to look to the future and anticipate the great things that God has yet to do in our church.
I've been in Zion since 1978, and as I look back this 36 years, God has been really so good to Zion. It was a major step that we took to acquire our own property, but through it, God has never failed to provide all our needs. Through the years, we have consolidated in love and strength, and through each different senior pastor brought different seasons of growth. We really give thanks that we have a very strong group of young people who are so passionate about God and love God and His church so much. And indeed, the church has a very good future in the hands of these young people.
Zion reminds me of my birthplace. I was dedicated here as a baby. and growing up these 25 years has been amazing. I was taught in Sunday school by some of the members here, and it's now my turn as a commander to give back to the church by serving other children. It has been a marvelous journey in this place to see so many people come through this church, and I enjoy the atmosphere of being family with one another. So as we commemorate 65 years of God's faithfulness, my wish for Zion Gospel Church is that our sanctuary will continue to hold a greater presence of God, and that for people who will be passing through this church, that they will make this place their home.
I'm glad to be used by God for this past 35 years. Though there were difficult and trying times, I'm always thankful that God is with me to help me overcome victoriously. There's a verse that kept me going all these years, and it's found in 2 Corinthians 9 verse 8. God is able to make all grace towards you, that ye, having all sufficiency in all things, may abound to every good works.
This is where we worship and where we encounter God.
This is where we bear our hearts open and where friendships are forged.
This is where we find ourselves broken, but out of the ashes rise.
This is where we get involved with Kingdom's business and where lives are changed.
This is where we laugh, and this is where we cry.
This is where our purposes are found and where hope prevails.
This is Zion.
And this is our church.